All right, family. Black Power is the truth hour with General Sarah Soon said he kick back, get your mind ready for some information that's guaranteed to be heavy. That's right, family. We're excited and delighted to be accepted members to the Sarah Soon said YouTube page, a dynamic page. Y'all know what we bring over here, the frequency, the energy. You feeling that? You should become a member. The link is right down in the video description. You should click that link. You'll get a video description, a rundown on what the memberships entail. You see one you like, you should most definitely join. Even if you don't, I appreciate your presence here at the Sarah Soon Seti YouTube page. Continue to engage, continue to advance. It's going down this Sunday, family. That's right. August 20 Sunday. Matter of fact, yep, tomorrow, August 20, Sunday, not tomorrow. Sunday, August the 27th is going down. Black Illuminati exposing the gatekeepers. I want you in the house. Click that link right down in the video description. GeneralSeti.ticketleap.com is going to be one of the most powerful live streams in a long time. A lot of original work, and you should be there. Should not miss it. So click that link. Begin to think. Don't you hesitate. TheElegantLeap.com. Ring the alarm. KingSeti.com online marketplace. 25% off selected items. Shopping save. Official General Seti DVD lectures, t-shirts, tank tops, hoodies for the kings, the queens, and the children. We got African and Kemetic jewelry. We got homemade African beads, bracelets, necklaces, custom made. We even got health and beauty products. We got creams and lotions for the family. You see, to get that melanin together. We got some, some lotions for melanated people. So get over there and check it out, family. KingSeti.com. 25% off at this time. And of course, pull the fire alarm, GeneralSeti.com, SETI University, over 1,000 videos of pure heat from the general. You already know what that means. You cannot lose. This one video gonna blow your mind, so you already know what 1,000 gonna do. So get access to it, man. I'm developing it to, man, where it's just like everything. We got supplemental videos, documentaries from the master teachers and other sources, supplementing the general. So you're talking about a hell of a website. So I want you to get over there, GeneralSeti.com, SETI University, and be amazed at that treasure chest of African wisdom. That's right. SETI popping on Patreon, BPC making noise. We never come. Exclusive live streams. We take it up a notch. GeneralSeti.com is the library. Patreon is the lecture hall. When you're ready to see the general live and you want to take it up a notch, we got a lot of exclusive live streams only to be seen on Patreon. You should get over there and check it out. Man, it's a treasure chest worthy, and of sticking your hand down in it and pulling up them gems. You see, and pulling up them jewels. And of course, make sure you subscribe to all my YouTube channels: King Seti, General Seti, Sarah Soon Seti. Rock that notification bell. Get a video a thumbs up, like it because you love it. Share it with your family and friends, and comment. Just don't say nothing stupid, because I will ban your ass. Nah, here we go. Why Niger is proof that Europe is still colonizing Africa. You see, and how we got, groups of African nations that will rise up, you see, won't rise up on nothing else. You see, when Africa needs a military to straighten some shit out, we can't find you. We can't find no ECOWAS. Can't find no ECOWAS. You got a lot of disrespect of the continent of Africa. You know what I'm saying? By the Arab. You see? But, what is ECOWAS, saying and doing in respects of that? We don't see that. We don't see that. And so the fact that, you got this coalition of African nations that is willing to ride on Niger because they have they've had a coup, which they feel is a revolutionary move to get rid of you know, a collaborator who's in charge of the nation, allowing France and America to come over there and get resources for free. And that's the only reason they're going in. When you see that they're willing to militarily go in, that hurt. Whatever Niger did, it hurt. It hurt. You see, that means that they in need of them resources, and that's very critical. You can see, and you could believe the other nations is watching that too. Yeah, yeah, you can see that China, Russia, see they gonna aim. They see because they know they themselves know, you know, about the need of resources. China and Russia. They ain't nothing, they gonna play, the saving grace. You know what I'm saying? Africa, and they always call in the next overseer. You see, and so Russia and China seems to be, the deliverer. You see, for Africa today, and they don't see no fault in China. They don't see no fault in Russia. You see, they want to get the European, but them is Europeans in every aspect. China is trying to dominate. They ain't trying to be nobody goddamn friends. So, China is setting up Africa to be in debt, and they indebted to China. You see what I'm saying? They indebted to China. You see all these major operations, even that damn dam that's going on in Ethiopia. If I'm not mistaken, they very well may have gotten a loan from China to build that dam. You see, and so it's a whole lot of nations in Africa that have taken out them loans, and they no different, and they doing very much like the United States. You don't pay that goddamn loan up, they gonna own something. They gonna own something in the land. They gonna be able to set up shop in the land. You see, Russia over there selling selling arms and shit, getting minerals and shit, and this, that, and the third, getting minerals and precious resources out of Africa, no different than the United States. You see, and so they feel like, okay, to break the chains of the West, we're gonna look to the East. But the East, they, in battling with the West, they have many of the same tactics and strategies of the West. They ain't nothing but the West. You see, the thing is, when people see, y'all got to see the underlay for the overlay. You got to see the underlay for the overlay. When I look at many of them leaders, whether they be Vladimir, whether they be the leader of China, even or Kim Jong Un of North Korea, that motherfucker's a Freemason. I look at him and I say, damn, how is all you see them? You see them in posture, even when they shake hands with the West. Muammar Gaddafi was a fucking Freemason. He was shown in so many, Freemason poses and shit, and this, that, and the third. And even when he was shaking hands with the presidents of the West, he was shaking their hands in Freemason handshakes. So you have to wonder, yeah, yeah, you have to wonder what's really going on. You see, you got to wonder what's really going on. How is it that all these leaders are Freemasons and then at the same time they warring with one another? You see what I'm saying? You have to wonder, like, is this shit all a game? You see? Is it all a game? What would make them come into Freemasonry like that? If there's not a brotherhood. And when you think about, the Freemasonry that you see today, you basically talking about France, you talking about Britain, you know. So even when you see it in other places, you like, well, damn, you're Vladimir Putin, but you in a Masonic lodge, and which, I have to look up, and see, what grand lodges that they have in Russia. When did it start? Because it got to be an outgrowth from the one coming out of Britain. You see what I'm saying? The one coming out of Britain, I don't care where it's at. Western, if it's Western Freemasonry, you see, that's what it is. You see? And so you can see them all over the world. And if they got a charter, all you have to do is look up and see where they got their charter from. You see? That's all you had to do. Pigs. All you had to do is look up and see where the charter came from. Okay? Now, if they, and see if most Western Freemasonry accept them. Some people, but even if you spun off, and you saw something that, but it's all the same. I don't believe they just spun off. I believe they all in a brotherhood. And much of what they do is a lot like Hollywood, where they create all these dilemmas and shit, but they in on it. They not stupid. They in on it. They in on it. It's a game that's being played by all these members. So you got these elites. You got these elites that's running in the world, and they all in cahoots one way or another. You see, and they playing these games and this, that, and the third. Now, even Donald Trump is a fucking Mason, a Freemason. That's all he do. Is every time, even to today, when you study it, he takes more pictures in Masonic posture than any one motherfucker I know. So you know what I'm saying? And so when you look at ECOWAS, another, the Cro-Magnums nigga, the Neanderthals nigga. You see, that's all they, and they run, and the thing is, you can see coups throughout that area. Now, I was studying ECOWAS, and when Mali didn't have, I don't know how many coups they didn't have. Now, Mali was a part of ECOWAS, and they suspended them because of the fact that they didn't have so many coups. But they didn't militarily go into Mali. Yeah. They didn't go into Mali. They didn't threaten Mali. Now, if I'm not mistaken, Burkina Faso who was also a member of ECOWAS, also suspended because they too have had a coup. Yeah. You say the majority of the prominent men are Masons, but why? Because you know what? They understand that, control is an organized thing. You see? These bloodlines have been, and the shit is crazy because it is bloodline. You see? That's the way the world has been that's how the world has been. Shit, you know what I'm saying? That's how the world, you could call it royalty. You can call it was always been a small group in control of the larger group. It's always been that way. You see? Yeah. It's always been that way. It's always been that way. So that's, and so, that, and it don't look like it's going to change anytime soon unless people overthrow the system. You see, you got to learn how the system operate, and you got to decide you don't want to be in it. Africa hasn't decided that they don't want to be in it. Africa is trying to mimic, in many instances, they try to say they moving in their own direction, but a lot of it is mimicking the West, mimicking China, mimicking Russia. China ain't got nothing good for Africa. When the plague was going down, they blamed what was going on in China on the Africans. That just show you how they really, really feel about African people. You understand what I'm saying? And I don't, I don't understand why, if you look at, niggas in Ukraine, I don't know why any nigga would want to go to school in Ukraine. You see? Yep. You see? And they show you how they treat black people, Africans in Ukraine. You see, they didn't even want them niggas to get on the train to get up out of there. You see what I'm saying? And in China, they wanted to blame the virus on African people. So I don't understand what people don't see about that. You see, I don't see what people don't see about that. They when the West is and you got to watch them. You see what I'm saying? Because they'll make a sound in the East and they'll strike in the West. They'll, they not no fool. They could pretend like, they trying to do, they not trying to really do nothing different. They ain't trying to do nothing different. The Chinese, China knows the United States is their number one trading partner, vice versa. They almost locked at the hip. So anything China want to do, it knows that, if it's the future that it sees, it's, it's based on they relationship with the United States. You see, that's what it's based on. Now, if they don't have that relationship, it's not going to be the same future. It's not going to be the same future. All them damn cities that y'all see built up over there in China, they didn't have them not long ago. You understand? Many of them goddamn cities they built up overnight. They built them fucking cities up overnight. You built them cities. The money that they all this shit that they selling over here. The population of the United States built all them goddamn cities up over there in China. Them motherfuckers was rice fields. You see what I'm saying? They was rice field. They didn't have all them damn buildings and shit. Some of them skyscrapers and shit. They didn't have all that. You know what I'm saying? That shit just went up, in the last 10 years. You see, last 10 years, a lot of that shit then went up. And so, but vowing for power and shit, you know what I'm saying? They run into some of the same sources. You see, running into Africa. Yeah, Africa has been, because, colonialism have been on Africa's ass even to today. It is underdeveloped in many areas where in some of them motherfucking places in South America just the same. The areas where they enslaved and shit, they didn't have no opportunity to build up nothing. Their ass is just coming from up under slavery in the last goddamn 100 years, 50 years. You see what I'm saying? There's some nations that just got their goddamn freedom in the 70s and shit. You know what I'm saying? So people just really coming from, and so they didn't have the opportunity to develop no infrastructure in Africa like that. And so, when you start looking at some of the Western world and even China to a large extent, China was, China had some sign, but China was shit, damn near a third world country for a while. Them motherfuckers wasn't ranked in the top nations. Them motherfuckers was over there rice of fields and shit and this, that, and the third. They didn't have all them goddamn cities, or they just started building them cities and moving them people into them cities. Them cities wasn't always there. You see? And so, but China has their own they got their own economy, and so they've, generating a lot of money. They didn't build, they infrastructure up in a lot of places. You see, in many places they didn't overbuild. You see what I'm saying? They didn't overbuild. They got goddamn cities that they ain't even got no population in. Yeah. Yeah, they ain't even got no goddamn yeah, China was beat up by Japan, Britain, and US. That's true. That's true. They cut that shit up. You see, especially during them opium wars and shit. Yeah, they cut that shit up. They had carved China up, and it was in sections and shit. You know what I'm saying? It was in sections. But, they didn't seem to come from up under that. But, in it, they still honor the West. They still, when you look at they cities, they everything, they move like the West. They imitating the West. You see, in everything that they do. You see, and so that ain't, and so, but at the end of the day, what we looking at in Africa is shameful. It's shameful. You understand what I'm saying? Because when Africa needs a force to straighten some shit out for African people, we can't see the niggas move on nothing. In the fact that you see that they didn't threaten Mali, they didn't threaten Burkina Faso. Why they, and I know that's what's going on. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You know, look at what's going on in the Sudan. Look at what's going on in the Sudan. Why ain't nobody, why ain't no Eastern coalition over there going into Sudan, straightening that shit out? Yeah, all them damn Arabs got their hand in there. See, anything that the Arab got their hand in. Now, I'm going to do some more research on this guy. Because they saying his bloodline that this guy that was president, that his bloodline come from Libya. And so, he's not even, now, I heard he was born in Niger. That's what I heard. But I got to see where his peoples is from. You see, I got to see where his peoples is from, and because he's, the people, have dethroned him for one reason or another. And I feel like maybe they feel he's an outsider and they just using him. And a lot of times over in that area, you got to understand Mauritania and all that, even from the time of the Moors, where the Arab and under that Islam and shit was looked at, with dignity and, and this, that, and the third. And so a lot of them Islamic niggas put him in there. And see, that's another thing that I was seeing in Nigeria, where they was getting counsel from some of the Muslims over there and this, that, and the third. And see, this is the thing that we don't understand. Is you not as you deal with Europe, you got to deal with the Arab. You see, as you deal with Egypt, the European. You got to deal with the Arab. And I don't hear nobody talking about that. You see, I don't hear nobody talking about, you got that damn leader up there in Algeria talking about he don't want no niggas in Algeria. Keep them out. You see, in many of them them northern Arab nations, the Europeans is paying them to detain Africans. You see, to keep them from coming out, from immigrating into Europe. So they paying a lot of the northern Africans to detain. And so they got all type of prison camps and shit and this, that, and the third, where they locking the Africans up, doing all torturing the Africans. I don't hear ECOWAS saying nothing about that. You see? I got to find out what it is that they saying about that. We don't hear them on that record. We ain't seeing them ready to ride on Algeria, ride on Mauritania, ride on all these Arabs on the north. If you're going to push Europe out of there, you got to push the Arab out of there too. Is you ready to do that? You know what I'm saying? That's significant, especially when you got them on the guy in the continent and got enough nerve talking about they don't want nobody in a particular part of Africa. The Arab got to leave Africa. He got to go. He got to go. Ain't no motherfucking anybody say, well, they been there, motherfucker. I don't give a fuck how long you been there. You been there the first day you came, you was there a day too long. Whatever day that was, it was a day too fucking long on the first day. Yeah. 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 Well, you know what? France has controlled a lot of that up there. Yeah, they didn't control a lot of that up there. They didn't control a lot of that up there. But at the same time, you know, when you dispense, you must, because not only do you got the European Union in there, you got the Arab Union up in there. Yeah, you got the Arab Union up in there. You understand? Pan-Arab Union. You got all these different unions of and ain't nobody from Africa, but they calling shots in Africa. They calling shots in Africa. And these niggas out here they, you know, many of them either they Christian and Muslims. You see what I'm saying? And that's a defeating ideology. If they could unify under their traditional African spirituality, they would be in a far better position. You see, but many times, you know, because they got either this ideology or the master, slave master, whether it is Christianity, they even today they talking about Hinduism is growing in areas of West Africa. They letting any and every where's the traditional religions? Where's the traditional spirituality? Where is it? You see? Because the Westerners want to say, oh, these niggas is practicing witchcraft or whatever. Then they have disregarded the worship of their own ancestors. You see? You know, the Arab is a dog. You see what I'm saying? The European is a dog. Both of them, one and the same. The Arab was in there before and all of the bloodshed, and they act like they don't remember that. You see what I'm saying? They act like they don't remember that, you know? And so, you know, again, you know, if they're going to take the time to ride on Niger, what about Algeria? What about Libya? What about Sudan, where they over there ain't? And when you look at them, you could tell it ain't nothing but the mixed breeds over there fighting for their Arab daddies. Ain't nobody talking about how Libya on one side and Egypt is on the other side, funding both, you know, factions to war and destroy a lot of African culture over there. You see, and nobody talking about how Muammar Gaddafi also was one, you know, the same war that's going on in Sudan. He had his hand in it. He had his hand in it. He was funding the Janjaweed that was committing genocide on the southern Sudanese, but we didn't have no ECOWAS. We didn't have no coalitions in Africa that would ride on them Arabs. You see, don't want to ride on the Arabs. You see, and so we got to in Nigeria and all of them. Y'all got to remember that there's gonna be a strike against you for riding on a nation in Africa, man, that want to be free. You got no right to decide. You don't have no right to decide when somebody can be free. If they tired of and they overthrow, then that's it. I mean, when you look at all fucking nations in the world, most of them overthrew what people consider, what the ruling class would consider a legitimate government. Okay, even the white man right here in America overthrew the British. You see, the British was considered to be a legitimate government. The French Revolution, yeah, they overthrew the royalty of France at that time, overthrew all of that and opted out. You see, and they still celebrate that day. They call it Bastille's Day or whatever they call it. Then you got the Russian, another a nation that was founded on a revolution, the Bolsheviks. You see what I'm saying? When the Bolsheviks overthrew Nicholas, the Tsar Nicholas. You see what I'm saying? And so yeah, so every nation on the goddamn planet is established by a revolution. You see, where they overthrow the ruling class at that time, who says that they are legitimate. So if you go to war with Niger, what about the United States? What about France? What about Russia? Even China. You understand what I'm saying? Came by Mao Zedong. Revolution. Yeah, so what are you talking about? And so when it's time for an African nation to be revolutionary and overthrow the oppressor, then now you want to ride. You want to ride now. But we have to look deep and see what these nations that's in ECOWAS, where did they stand during slavery? Where did they stand during slavery? You see, were they a member? Were they participating? Were members of these nations participating with the European during the Atlantic slave trade? We need to look at that, because it seems like they very well may be continuing in their wicked ways. They may very well be continuing in their wicked ways, trying to hold down a brother and a sister that wants to be free. And so we have to look at this, because it's critical. It's critical. It's critical. Because I'm gonna tell you, if some go down, they be ready to side against us. You see, look and listen. It's funny. It's funny. But I can see that they would, in any case, that blacks in America might vow for some freedom. They would side against us. You say ECOWAS is Nigeria. Yeah, we know they the big boy on the block. We know that. They the big boy on the block. We know that. But they can do better with their power than be bullying their own brothers and sisters over there for this Cro-Magnon Neanderthal. We see you, Nigeria. We see you. We see you. And that don't mean, but we see you. We see you. We see you. Okay? We see you. And and we like the elephant. The elephant has a strong memory. Never forgets. The elephant never forgets. And you remember that. So we watching you. And so you understand, if you take a step against in Niger, and you bring bloodshed to the peoples of Niger, then you got to account for that. You have to account for that. So know that we watching you, and it will be recorded. Now, for Nigeria to be such a powerful nation, and you should be leading the way. You should be leading the way, not trying to bring no military. You're not to bring, not to bring no military against your own brother for no goddamn French. You see? Not for no French and no United States. You gonna lose with that. You gonna lose. You gonna lose big too. And when you step, you ain't gonna be able to pull that back. You're not gonna be able to pull it. You're not gonna be able to lay that down. So you better think long and hard before you let the West damage what credibility that you have. Because in Nigeria, if you're gonna straighten it out, you should have all them damn Arab and Muslim factions over there that's damaging Mali, man, and got Mali looking like a wasteland over there. Man, that's some bullshit over there burning. Come on, man, y'all ain't did nothing for Mali. Why, if ECOWAS was over there, what the fuck was the UN doing in Mali for 10 years? I don't even understand that. What the fuck was the UN doing? Was they in Burkina Faso? I believe. I mean, the UN was all through. What the fuck is the UN doing over there if you got ECOWAS? What is you motherfuckers for? You only show up when the West needs you? Yeah, when the West needs you, then you there. Anything other than that, we can't even find you. You don't even exist. You see? So family, we keep our eyes on Niger, and we speak, in unity. We do not want brothers and sisters to fight brothers and sisters, shedding blood for the white man. That is crazy. This is insane to, at this late date in the game, to make a move like that. So I hope Nigeria know that its credibility is on the line, and they better think long and hard before they ride against our family. That's right, family. Appreciate you. We got a new member. Thank you. That's right. And so here we go, family. We'll be black tomorrow. I want y'all to we're gonna and I'm gonna dig deeper into this, and so we'll have a stronger broadcast tomorrow. I'm gonna dig deep, and and we're gonna get down to the bottom line on what's going on over there in Niger. Guarantee you that. So this is General Sarah Soon said, he said, hey, arm yourself with knowledge. Bang on that wicked ass beast daily. Liberation through African education and confrontation. Black power.